Hi people, and now my Chili Con Carne crew is the man who produces Iron from My Eyes, and I'm doing a 5-minute review on Lenny Kravitz's newest album, Blue Electric Light. How did guitar legend and sex god Lenny Kravitz creep under my radar for a new release? I feel like my finger has been off the pulse lately with new releases, and personally I blame the national shortage of avocados for this. Anyway, bizarre joke aside, let's deal with the music on here. The album itself is an upbeat and funky affair that certainly dabbles in a certain style of music. I certainly can't fault the lyrics of this record for their positivity, which actually seems quite contrary to what I've been hearing for the last few years. It's almost like a beacon of light when Lenny sings lines like, "My spirit starts to move when I look into your eyes," or "Without you, my love, I'm paralyzed," or pretty much the entire song that is Bundle of Joy, which is very relatable to me as of recent. Now, Lenny Kravitz has always been one of these musicians that is on the outskirts of my radar. I know, it's a shame really, because he has so much great music to offer, but outside of a few records from the 90s catalogue, I haven't gone too deep into his more recent material. I don't usually find myself revisiting his stuff, but I do have a few of his major songs on a playlist, but that's about it. Despite this, I must reprise, one of the best songs I have heard from this album is the second track, TK421. Which seems to tap into that 80s pop rock sound and is just a really fun and funky sounding song that kind of reminds me of the early music by Prince. There is a particular skill set on display here, tapping into that retro nostalgic vein like a surgical needle, giving us our hit here, and its groove is just undeniably wicked. The downside: the album taps into that 80s sound, and we tend to ignore this decade as a shocking decade filled with a lot of terrible music. It's easy to look back with rose-tinted glasses at the great music on offer. But for every Thriller, there was a Leather Jackets. For every Rio, there was Never Let Me Down. For Appetite for Destruction, there was a Projects in the Jungle. For every combat rock, there was a Cut the Crap. For every Joshua Tree, there was a whatever the hell Neil Young was doing around this time. Granted, most of the crap from the 80s were produced from the prior decade's musicians trying to find a footing in a new age. It is still a lot of shite being made, and even the best music has aged poorly, like milk left on a counter for a month while you went on holidays. So when you have tracks like Bundle of Joy, which aren't egregiously horrendous, they seem obnoxiously annoying with their odd synth sections. Hey, live by the synth, die by the synth.
That's exactly what a synth would say. But I don't know. Are you really, human?
The issue I have is the album seems to take a dive shortly after it begins, and doesn't come back up to surface for the remainder of its runtime. And at 55 minutes long, it does teeter on for a tad too long, considering especially how there isn't much stylistic change on the album. This record doesn't have the soul of Circus, or the big hooks found on Are You Gonna Go My Way, or the various elements of changes on 5. Instead, it stays in its path without veering off to a new course, and it did make my brain turn off after a while. Overall, I would give this album a score of 3.5 million chilies on the spicy scale, with my favourite tracks being It's Just Another Fine Day, TK421, and Paralyzed. Look, this music isn't that bad, but it is so boring. It's inoffensive to the ears, I guess. It comes across as a very mid-tier pedestrian album with a retro 80s vibe to it, which is a shame because the album's biggest benefit was also its biggest flaw. A glaring time capsule into an earlier decade updated for production in a newer age, and it falls short due to the gimmick running out pretty much early on in the first 3 tracks. It's a shame because I was really looking forward to hearing what Kravitz had to offer, and this album just didn't do it for me. But as always, make sure to check out this album for yourself and see if it's up to your speed. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.